Hello and welcome to my first video, the beginnings of my forever world, a vanilla survival Minecraft series. I, TJ, am just going to be helping guide and narrate my first journey because the commentary was a little less than I would have liked. It started by wandering, gathering wood, and preparing for the first night. I stumbled upon a ruined nether portal. That is really cool. I don't know if I've ever seen one of these on the water like this. And there's a gold block. Feather falling. A little helmet, lodestone. Some early game gold. Alright. I think I'm gonna kind of hang out around our spawn area for the most part, just to get started. Probably build, not quite a starter house, but just a hut to survive the night and the first couple days in. And so that's what I did. Looking for some basic materials to gather a bed and other hut building materials along the way. But what was supposed to be an easy mission, just for at least a couple iron and some shears, ended up giving me a little bit more trouble than I was initially expecting. And see if in this cave there's some just like really easy iron I could grab, because I think it'll be a lot easier to make shears and grab a sheep than it would be to kill one. It is getting a little dark and spooky down here quickly though. Make sure we have a path up so we don't get trapped. Ooh, yeah, it got dark quick. Oh, but there's iron down there. Do I do it? Okay, screw it. We're gonna go just like this. The spider's coming. Uh-oh. Gotta get the skeleton. Looks like this spider's stuck for whatever reason, so I'm gonna use my opportunity to eat. Alright, grab this iron. Uh-oh. Well, that was a bit scary, but I think we survived. Gonna just try to grab this really quick and then get out immediately. Alright, we survived. Let's get on out of here. And so I made it back to the surface, surviving my first mobs, gathering my first iron, but night had arrived. So I ended up stalling, gathering some stone and other building materials, waiting for the sun so that I could go and gather wool. Alright, so it looks like it's finally turning to day out there. So, what my plan is going to be is after running around here, gathering up some cobblestone, just grabbing some of the coal that I had really easy access to right down there, I was able to make some shears. So I'm going to run around, try to find some sheep, try to kill some fish hopefully, so I have a little bit of food and I have a bed to sleep through the night so that we can continue to grab materials and prepare to make a little starter hut. Looks like we have some dogs up here. I wonder if I can get one of them with my bone. Come on. Not quite. We got some chickens. Finally, here we go. Let's gather up some wool. They're so far away, maybe we'll just grab a couple. And it looks like we have quite a few up here, so I am going to handle some food business. This is a really pretty biome right here. I love all these blue flowers coming down the meadow with the birch in the background. That looks great. That would be a really good build spot. And so I found where I would eventually want to set my starter base. But before that, I had plans to build our spawn point safety hut. Alright, so this being the area that we spawned in right here, I think that I want to just clear out some of these trees and make sure it's safe. I know that I'm not planning on building my starter base here, but I still want to make sure that it's a good area for if we're coming back from the end portal and we don't have our spawn set, we're going to end up here, or if we die and we don't have a bed set, we're going to end up here. So I just want to make sure that it's an environment where we're not going to spawn here in the middle of the night and then just continuously get killed by skeletons or something like that. Alright, so I cleared out some trees around here, but it is now getting dark, so I'm gonna make a bed and sleep under the stars tonight. And that'll be our first night where we are able to sleep. So as far as the plan goes, I've been doing some thinking as I was gathering some wood, and what I think I want to do is build not quite a starter base, but just like a little safety hut up here. Just a super basic, 5x5 or something like that. Literally just a square. It's not going to be anything pretty, but it's going to get the job done. And then we're going to build a super basic path all the way over to where we want our starter base to be. I'm going to clear out the woods and just slowly make our way over there, just with stone tools, before we then take all those materials we used to get over there to build our starter house. Alright, if that's not a classic Minecraft hut, I don't know what is. let me give you guys the tour. We got just a real basic house with the essentials. We got a furnace, a bed, a crafting table, and a double chest. And a little window with soon-to-be glass panes. We don't have that quite yet. Then over here, we have a ladder. For the second floor, our little balcony, be able to enjoy the view here. And this will provide us shelter and somewhere safe to sleep. On to phase 2 of our plan here. We have our safety hut all set in stone and good to go. So now I am gonna slowly do some light terraforming on stuff like this and begin clearing out our path over to where our actual starter house is going to take place, and then we can really start expanding on our soon-to-be home. So I'm gonna finish that up and then we can walk through it together. Alright, so I just finished up what I was working on, so let's go. We're just gonna walk down this path here and I'm gonna kind of explain what's going on. So, the path went smoothly. I'm fairly happy with it. There's still some tweaks and things with the terrain that I'd like to do to make it smoother. I wanted to kind of talk about why I terraformed the hills the way I did. I wanted to have at least a 2-block platform on every single one, because later on when I'm able to find spruce wood or I end up texturing the path to look a little bit different, I want to put slabs right here so that I don't have to jump and I can just smoothly go up and down on all the paths. So that's kind of why I did that. I also later had to go on through with the hoe to kind of manicure some of these trees, because with the forest, oh, here I missed one. This is a good example. With the forest, when you cut down the tree, they don't all disappear and drop their saplings, just because the leaves kind of think that they're still attached to the tree through the other connecting ones that I didn't chop down. So I went through and took care of some of that, because that's really ugly. I didn't want to look at it. As far as terrain goes, texturing it and stuff would probably look nicer, but also just like little stuff like this where the generation is just kind of odd, I want to clean up. That's kind of later down the line, I think, when I kind of decorate everything up. Right now I just wanted to make sure the path was here. It's not lit up, so hopefully that doesn't cause me any problems later, but at least it's in place. I think we get some really nice kind of framing though. I love how like the bees are kind of going back and forth with the flowers and stuff, kind of animating the space. Oh, here's some more. I tried to keep some of these caves kind of intact because I feel like we could use that not only to mine later on, but as just a unique kind of decor coming through the space. Here is where our starter base is going to be. I think that like the composition coming in here is super cool, how the forest is kind of framing it. I think maybe another tree right here would look really good. And then we come in and we have this super grand hill. I want to keep this whole thing with all the flowers and stuff. I think it looks really nice. It's a bit steep, so I think we're going to have to kind of build the roads on top and either terraform or create some kind of retaining wall or other structure to give the idea like it's being propped up. I have some ideas for my starter house. I can put some of the inspiration on screen. I just made a small mood board to kind of give me some direction. But in order to do that, we're kind of lacking in the material department. I kind of started on the path before even properly mining or anything like that. So I think I'm gonna sneak in a quick mining session, gather up some materials that kind of follow my mood board. I don't have exact plans on what I'm gonna build, but once we have the materials, we'll be able to kind of follow the images we have and hopefully come up with something cool for a starter base. So I'm gonna go mine, gather materials, and we'll do a proper check-in then, or if something interesting happens when mining. So this is a kind of highlight reel of what was going on when I was mining. I ran into a lot of interesting mob fights and things. Also found an abandoned mine shaft and a geode, which is pretty cool. I had a few close calls, really close. I was fighting a lot of creepers and stuff, but luckily I stayed alive and I never died. After running up to the surface, I gathered some more food and went back down because all I had gathered was a bunch of ores. So I went and I got some diorite, andesite, granite, and some cobblestone to help while I'm building. Didn't have to gather up any more wood because we did that when we were taking care of the path, but I did find some vines that I'm hoping to incorporate in some way. Okay everybody, so 2 hours of grinding later, and we have some materials to at least get us started here. Take a look inside the chest, and here we are. Alright, so we got a lot of coal, a lot of copper, and a lot of iron, along with different stones, woods, and as you can see, I also got some seeds. As we were in the abandoned mine shaft, I was able to find some melon seeds and beetroot seeds, so I'm excited to get those planted for sure. Other than that, we got some basic wheat seeds and some vines that I was able to find in the forest, and I want to get some of those going so we can use some mossy cobblestone. Alright, so we got some basic farms going on. A little bit of vines growing. We got some crops planted. And I'll be slowly breeding these sheep up and allowing them to eat the grass so that I can take more of their wool. So, now it's going to be the more tricky part where we come over here and we need to decide not only a location for the house, but then also begin designing the house. I'm thinking I might go like right there, right where the bend of that hill kind of is, because on my reference photos I'm seeing that a lot of the houses I have are kind of on slopes, and instead of flattening them out, they kind of work with the slope to do a cool layered effect of the house. So I think I'm going to try to attempt that. We're also going to be working with a stone kind of white look with a brownish red top. So I'm going to try to play with color palette a little bit down there and figure out what I want as far as that goes. I think I've come up with a palette that I want to work with. So the bottom, the white and gray, is going to be kind of like a stone base for the bottom half of most of the build. Then the wood's kind of in the light, mostly birch, and then the stripped oak for shadows. That's going to be kind of a second floor type of deal, kind of an accent bit. And then that top, granite, yeah, that's granite and dirt and the oak logs and the copper, that is going to be our roof. Now the normal copper, I'm thinking, is a little bit too bright. I think I might need to let that age down 1 or 2 so that it's a little bit weathered and it might go into our palette a little more. The main things I want to focus on as I'm building are, I'm really liking those bottom floor big archways. I'm thinking that could be cool to make like a storage area with that as an entrance, as well as kind of making that an easy in and out of our house. And then we can have kind of the main entry somewhere else, or like a side entry, kind of not as much on the main road. And that could serve more of decorative functions, as well as maybe even going to our bedroom or a kitchen where we have some furnaces and stuff like that. So it's going to be a little less function focused on that part. I'm also seeing in a lot of the references, the windows are pretty small, so I don't think we're going to be doing any huge windows in this build, and kind of not fully enclosed roofs. The roof is just kind of going on 2 sides, not all 4 sides, so those are also things that I want to keep in mind. I'm going to try to kind of check in as I go about the building, but I wouldn't call myself an expert for building, so let's get started. Okay, so as you can see right now, so far what we got going on is a really ugly diorite white box. It looks disgusting. So, this is only the start. Just trying to put the shapes in a little bit. Haven't even begun texturing it. I find if you just build yourself a canvas, it's going to make it easier to try to imagine where shadow and things like that are. I'm not using a creative world or anything like that. I'm just playing it straight up in here and making things up as I go. Okay. We're going to have the big arch door right here, I think. This is where you're going to enter. All of this is going to be gone. And then on the bottom layer here is going to be our storage room. And then our stairway, now that I'm looking at it, might better fit right here. But that's not really what I wanted. I wanted to be able to see the stairs from our kind of viewing location right here. So I may move this kind of part that's pushing out onto this side. Alright, I think that's looking a lot better. I think that fits kind of what we're going for a lot more. On top of this, I think I'm going to switch to the wood palette that we got to do an extension that's a little bit taller and connect in the extension that we got going on top here. So that'll be a good start. And so that's what I did, blocking in the wood on the top, putting it at what I figured would be an appropriate height so that I was able to do a second floor up there with the wood. I actually ended up jumping right to the roof as well and getting that blocked in. Again, there's no texture on these, I'm just getting the general shapes and colors down. I usually suck at roofs, that's kind of one of my main weaknesses and difficulties I have when building, but this one really just kind of fell into place. I think sticking to the photos that I had and trying to model it after some real houses really helped, as well as thinking about how big I made the build so that I could center it helped when I got to this stage as well. And when that was done, I just hopped right into putting in some of the other big parts of the house to texture around, such as the stairs on the side. I was really struggling to get the stairs put in how they were supposed to. I kept placing them upside down. I also played a bit with things like the railing and the pillars that were going to be on the stairs. I didn't know quite how wide I wanted them to be or what material I wanted to use. I kind of went between planks and logs, eventually landing on logs. I got the big doorway put in on the bottom half of the house too. This is most likely going to be an entrance to a storage room on the bottom. I went and placed in the floor for the second level of the house. And next up was texturing. I went around starting with the bottom level, the white level, just placing in my highlights and my shadows, working through the rain. I even got attacked by some zombies along the way in the thunderstorm. This gave me some difficulty. I wasn't quite as happy as I initially hoped with my choice of the birch and the diorite. It's definitely very texture heavy, and it's certainly a choice. It looks better further away than it does close up, but we're just rolling with the punches. Giving it a little bit of dimension definitely helped it overall though. I'm not great at adding this texture, but it was definitely a learning experience, and I feel like overall it left the build looking better than it started. I also went to the top level to add some texture, kind of from under the roof and stuff, give the illusion of some shadow, and I was really happy with the way this one went. I think the gradient we chose with the wood really worked well and really gave the build some more dimension. I wasn't quite able to add that stained, weathered look that was in some of my reference photos, but overall I think it made my build look more alive. Alright everybody, so it's been about 2 seconds for you probably, but in the real world, outside the screen, it has been a day, and more. At the start of today, I hopped on, and I gathered up some more oak, because we were about to run out of it. The texturing is pretty much complete. There's gonna be tweaks and little things to add here and there. Let me sleep real quick. Yeah, there's going to be little tweaks and things here and there to adjust, but I think that's going to kind of be going on as we're doing our detailing. So, now that I have the oak, I think I'm going to take some fence gates and kind of decorate the bottoms of the roof with it to kind of give the illusion of support beams of some sort, as well as let's get a couple windows in here and there, and maybe we'll start clearing out the entrance as well. Yeah, clearing out the entrance as it's raining sounds like a good idea to me. So we'll do that so that we can kind of let the interior of our base inform the exterior a little bit. And we are done. This is a good amount of space. Go out here in the rain a little bit. Alright, we're working with a good amount. I feel like maybe we can make a cool loft up here or something. Kind of get 2 floors so that we're really making use of the amount of space we have. Gonna have lots of space for storage, little crafting setup. I think it'll be good. Oh, we got a friend. Let's see. What do we got? Pumpkin seeds. Nothing that I'm really liking. I want saplings, bro. Yeah, saplings. What I might do is steal your llamas, if you'd allow. And they're gonna sit here until they cool off. Ouch. Alright, I'm thinking let's block in a couple windows. Alright everybody, so I have a confession. When I was gathering oak, I may have seen the beginning of a snowy biome. And what does a snowy biome mean? It means spruce. I was going to strip these oak logs for oak shelves to continue framing and detailing on the house. But I really want that spruce, and I think that the darker shelves would look so much better. So I think I'm gonna go run towards that snowy biome and see if we can find some spruce saplings. I believe it was over here somewhere. Yes. So we have snow. And there's a spruce tree. Perfect. Whoa, what the heck? Is it literally just this? This is the most odd snowy biome I've ever seen. It's so tiny. Okay, we just need some spruce logs though. That's all we're here for. And grabbing some saplings as well. Okay, so we made this little platform and we're planting these trees up here because this is all gonna turn into, shoot, what's that called? It's all gonna turn into the brown dirt looking stuff. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but that's why we put it up there, so we don't mess up our nice grass down here. Alright, so I was thinking these shelves we could kind of use like that to add some texture and kind of frame in this bottom part. Maybe we also go like that. Yeah, I think I like that. So we're gonna need a ton of spruce for that. So that's gonna take a bunch more gathering of materials. In the meantime, should we see what trapdoors look like instead? Yeah, maybe let's make trapdoors too, so that we can kind of compare. I feel like the shelves look a lot more like heavy duty and they're sticking out more, giving more texture. Where the trapdoors look like kind of more decorative. What if we just did the shelves on the corners? Yeah, I think I kind of like that. And then there's like a little bit of variety going on too. Okay, so I gotta grab a bunch of spruce. So I'm gonna kind of be doing that as we're continuing to decorate. Alright, while the saplings are growing up, we're gonna work on some interior. In here, I want to make a loft. So to do that, I think for the most part, it's gonna be 3 wide. So we'll just kind of set that there. And I think we can kind of use the loft to create some good like separation going on. And then we can do our stairs right here. And then I wonder if we can put it kind of going into this room. Alright, maybe we don't need these on the back wall since they'll be supported by the wall itself. And we'll make it like this tall. I don't know how tall this is, but this tall. Alright, and that's pretty tall, so I'm trying to think of how we could get up there. Because I don't really want a ladder. But at the same time, if we just staircase up, I'm not gonna like this. I suppose we could do like this kind of thing. Where we do that. Does that look really stupid? Maybe we could shift this pillar over 1 and it'll look a little more structured. So we come in, we have the loft up there, staircase, and then I want to extend this all the way to there, and then we can kind of have it inside that little room as well. Alright, so up in here on our loft layer, I just wanted to create this little step up because of the clearance on the bottom. I didn't want to adjust our window or anything. But I think this is okay because it's just supposed to be a little loft. We could put some upside down stairs here to kind of help the transition. And then, I'm not sure what we're going to put in here yet. Honestly, it'd be a really good spot for an enchanting table. We're not quite there yet, but that's not a bad option. I don't super want to put like everything we need in our starter house though, just so we have more room to expand later on in the future, but I don't know, we'll see. We're still workshopping everything. Need some fences along this. Also, I realized I forgot to texture the roof, so that's kind of next on the list. But we need to get some food and stuff because I'm about to not be able to run. And it looks like our spruce tree also finished growing up, so we gotta take care of that. Oh, potato, 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 potato. Oh, all right, that's exciting. I love getting crops. I love getting the new crops. All right, I was just finishing up with chopping down this spruce tree and planting some out here because I think when we do the 2x2, we get less saplings, and I just want a nice little stockpile. And a zombie pulled up on us, killed it, and he gave us the gift of a potato. So, I'm gonna go plant that in my field. A special moment this is. Our first potato planted. How exciting. And the house is looking good from the viewing point. Alright. I think it's really coming in. The bottom with the birch and the wool, I'm still feeling a little bit, iffy about, but it's really coming together. While just working on the house, I was able to find a very convenient entrance right below the stair set that I decided would be a good side door into our storage area and the loft of that bottom section of the house. Being located right underneath the stairs, I kind of pivoted my focus and started trying to come up with a bit of a stronger design because I wasn't quite satisfied with what it was looking like before. So I switched out for logs and fences and got to work. Alright, so I've been putzing with the stair set going up the side, and I came up with this design. Let me know what you think. It definitely looks a little bit busy, but I think that it fits the spot pretty well. Maybe the fences are a bit much. I'm not sure, we'll see. But what I did do is I left this little opening so that we can have a nice side door that goes right here into our little loft so that we can really access all the floors here, which is really nice. Now, one thing I still need to think about though is above us here is actually another level. This is the main level of the house. So I feel like I should have access from down here to up there. I just haven't fully worked out how I want to do that. Now, up next, I think, is going to be the roof. I still have not textured it, so I think we're going to be moving that direction, and yeah, we're just going to keep on pushing with everything. As I worked on texturing the roof, I really tried to keep in mind, firstly, our palette that we came up with earlier, and focusing on just that, and how I could create gradients into the roof along with just adding texture to create the illusion of light bouncing off of our roof, and where certain spots might look lighter or more shadowed. I didn't 100% stick to this, but that was my main focus. One thing that I found I kind of overlooked while I was originally coming up with my palette was the half slabs on my roof. I didn't really think about the fact that when I made it, not every block I had would be able to be a half slab, like the logs and the dirt. So when I was actually texturing the roof, I had to change my plans a little bit for that. As you can see, when I finished that, I decided to put some fence gates below to be looking like supports on my roof to add a little bit more of detail to that. And while we were doing that, I ran into my first pillagers, which was a bit of a fun task. I was trying to avoid getting bad omen, so you can see I was kind of running around, trying to make the normal guys shoot the one with the banner so that I could kill them after they killed their leader. And it worked out for me, so hooray to that. Up next for me after the house was looking for some sand so that I could make glass for our windows. On this journey, I found a village, as you can see, which I was very happy about, giving me access to a bunch of free hay bales. I also found watermelons there, and some pumpkins on the way. So I went looted around the village, not really putzing with the villagers, and went about my journey. Saddle, yes, that's exactly what I wanted. And the bundle, okay. I've never used one of those before. Cauldrons I'll take because those are a little bit pricey to make. There we are. Look at this guy. Fully blacked out and proud. Alright. Oh, and look at those hearts. Ooh, keeps kicking me off. He's a feisty one. He's got an attitude. I will tame you, horse. Oh, yes. Alright, here goes nothing. After getting home from my adventure and parking my new horse, it was back to work, punching in holes in the side of the house to put in the windows with the new glass we were able to find. Alright, I'm feeling pretty happy overall with how the roof and the windows went and came together. I feel like this is a good point that I can just leave it at for now, and we can start moving our attention to things like the door and putting the glass in the windows. I'm thinking, because I want it to be curved, right? I might put... I was thinking a 1-block overhang, but maybe we can just place most of it on the back of the block using like trapdoors. And then I can just put stairs right there to kind of create the curve. Alright, I feel like from this side, this looks really good. I'm super happy with it from this side. But the thing is, on the inside, it pokes out like that. So I'm gonna have to think of a way that we can kind of hide that little aspect of it. And all that was left that I wanted to wrap up for the exterior was the final touches on the windows. So I was adding some glass panes here and there, some fences for some of them to create a little bit of variety, and trapdoors and shelves to give a little bit more depth to the build and add just those little details and changes in color to catch the eye. Alright guys, and I just wanted to get the walk up because I think that this is going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching my first video of building my starter hut, and I will see you guys next time where hopefully we will tackle the interior and we will expand from there. So thank you. Please subscribe if you liked it. Leave a comment, ask some questions, leave some build suggestions because I know this is far from perfect, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.